What is up, everyone? Welcome back to my channel. As you can tell by the title of today's video, I'm going to be talking about more of my favorite album covers. If you would like to see part 1 of this video that I did a couple months back, make sure you click the little I right up here to check it out. But yeah, I'm doing a part 2 for this kind of video because there are just so many album covers out there that I admire. The artwork is going to be the one thing that draws your attention to the record if you don't already know about the band. And I've always had a ton of respect for album covers, you know, the artists that either draw or paint a certain image, or else the photographers that take a really cool picture. Most of the time the band or artist will actually hire somebody to create this cover that kind of goes with the theme of their album, or else they'll just pick something that kind of fits with it or something random. But anyways, I think there's so much that can be analyzed when it comes to album covers. Some covers have a lot going on while others are more simple, but either way they all convey a message, and that's what I'm going to talk about today. So without further ado, I'm going to share with you 10 covers that I really love. These are in no particular order, so let's just get started with this list. First up, we have Deja Vu by Brand New. Now this cover is something that I used to see all the time, like all over the place, before I even knew what it was from. This piece of artwork is iconic because of how beautiful it is. Obviously we have an astronaut here who's kind of floating above this body of water, and all the colors around it are like bright oranges and reds and yellows, and then of course the water is like a bluish green color. The colors in this painting are so eye-catching. I'm a huge fan of the orange shades here, the reds, just kind of draws my attention to it. And then of course that greenish blue water contrasts with the other colors, and it just turned out really good. This is just a brilliant cover all around. I know so many people who love this cover, it's like their favorite ever, and that's justified. Just look at it, it's so pleasing to look at. Honestly, all of Brand New's covers are fucking awesome, but this one is the one that I think really stands out because of the colors. Next up, we have I'll Keep You in Mind from Time to Time by Moose Blood. Now, a lot of people don't necessarily know who this band is. They're still kind of up and coming. They're in like the emo scene, but as you can tell, this is a photograph, and I'm pretty sure it's of Eddie, the lead singer's wife. She's sitting outside at night by this fire, and it just kind of looks like a candid, and that's why I love it so much. It's not like a super planned photo. I really admire it when like a photographer can kind of just capture a moment rather than, you know, setting up all this stuff and making it, you know, look like something that was planned. You know, it really does look like just a natural moment in time. Also, the colors here are my aesthetic, like dark blues mixed with bright oranges. The little sparks in the air throughout look like stars to me. It's just such a pretty cover to look at. And honestly, the reason I initially checked out this record and this band is because of this cover. I thought it looked so cool. It's just so pretty. It reminds me of summer or else early fall at night, you know, those chilly nights by the fire. It's awesome. 21 Pilots' self-titled cover art is definitely by far their best artwork. This drawing just says so much, and it really does fit the theme and ideas that are conveyed in this music. This guy's brain is literally cracked open, like oozing all these different colors, and to me that kind of displays like mental exhaust. All of his thoughts, dreams, memories, insecurities, and fears are all just kind of coming out all at once, and I think it's actually supposed to be at nighttime because obviously he's laying on his bed, and at night is when it's easiest for those thoughts to kind of come about. And 21 Pilots talk about that in their lyrics so often, so I feel like this is definitely what that is saying here in this artwork. But that's just my interpretation. Feel free to leave your own down in the comments below, but honestly this cover just says so much to me. It speaks to me in that way that I just explained, but let me know if you have any other ideas of what that could actually be meaning here. The cover for American Candy by The Maine is just a very simple, well-composed photograph. It's a girl chewing gum and blowing a big pink bubble, and it's framed by white, but also the background behind her is blue, and that triad of colors has always been one of my favorites. It's just aesthetically pleasing to the eyes, and I feel like it does really fit the music that is on this record. Even the font that they chose and the spacing of the letters just kind of leaves all this extra white space to kind of draw yourself to the main focus here. It just has a really nice clean look that works perfectly for the theme of this record as well as the album title. Bringing the Horizon Sempiternal is complex yet simple at the same time. It has kind of an elegant feel with that gold color choice as well as those intricate swirls that are on the outside that kind of frame the main circle. Now if you look closely, there is a ton of detail here, and of course the main circles in the middle that overlap are really pleasing to the eye because they are symmetrical and very evenly spaced, just like perfectly. that is something that the human eye is naturally attracted to. You know, symmetry is something that we look for. I also think this cover fits the genre of this album really, really well. Although it is heavy, there's also some instrumentals that are more electronic based or synthy, or else pianos that just kind of make it have this eerie vibe to it, and this cover just totally displays that. Foley Adieu is my favorite Fall Out Boy album, and this cover is so awesome, mainly because of the colors, and I know it is kind of simple. Obviously we have the main focus here is these two bears. One of them I think is just like a kid in a bear costume carrying maybe an actual bear like on his back. The contrast between the bears and the bright red background just kind of draws your attention to it. And the title of this album, Foley Adieu, translates in French to the madness shared by two. So I guess these two characters here on the cover are so like connected in their psyche that whenever they're together, whenever they work together, they kind of just create this insanity somehow. Now I've heard some fan theories say that this cover is supposed to be Patrick carrying Pete. Now I'm not sure how true that is. I know a lot of people try and shove Pete Rick down everyone's throats, so I'm not really going to say that that is what this is here. Obviously no one will really know except for the actual artist who did create this, but either way it's a cover that definitely draws my attention. Next up we have The Things We Think We're Missing by Balance and Composure. Now this cover totally reminds me of like a lava lamp, just because of those colors, the yellows and reds and pinks, just super contrasty but like really groovy looking. It's very abstract, and the edges are black all around, just kind of creates almost like a circle in the middle to draw your attention to the main stuff going on here. And in the middle we have this person that has like a sheet over their head or whatever, and they're holding a bouquet of flowers. Now I personally have no idea what this cover really means, but I don't really think it's necessary. I just like admiring it for the artwork just because it is kind of interesting to look at, and like I said, the colors are the main thing that kind of draw my attention. As you can tell in this video, I said several times that, you know, the color scheme is what initially attracts me. I'm a big fan of like bright popping colors, so I naturally thought this one was super cool. Green Day's newest album, Revolution Radio, has such a sick cover. This is definitely one of my favorites by this band so far. It's literally a radio that's on fire and it's melting. Now this cover obviously makes a statement just like the content in this record does, and I'm not actually sure how this cover was created. My best guess is that it's a mix of photographs and digital art. Either way, it turned out super good. I love the black background and the bright fire, and just the radio itself looks really fucking cool. This cover just screams Green Day. The 1975 self-titled Black album is another one that's very simple, but it gets the job done. It's clearly a white neon sign with a black background displaying the band's name as well as the album title, and it's just black and white but has this very soft, subtle glow to it that's really attractive. It's not too over the top. Like, I feel like in their second album with the pink, I really love the way that looks, but it is way more bright and pops a lot more. For this one, it just kind of has a more darker tone to it, and I think that perfectly fits the vibe of that record, and it fits the band's aesthetic perfectly. You know, if you've never heard any of the music from this band, you can kind of tell what kind of genre they are just by looking at this cover. I just really love this image. I'd love to have it like blown up into a poster somewhere to put on my wall maybe, but either way, it just looks... Last but not least, we have A Hard Day's Night by the Beatles. This came out way back in 1964, and this is a pretty iconic, famous cover that I feel like a lot of artists and other bands have kind of recreated in their own way. As you can see, it's all four Beatles, John, Paul, George, and Ringo, and they're all doing like a series of different poses and facial expressions. It's almost like the photographer was just holding down the shutter button or else taking really quick pictures while the guys shifted positions and different facial expressions. Obviously, they're all random poses that I think they're supposed to look like they were all just kind of spur of the moment thing, but obviously I'm pretty sure they were mostly pre-planned. But I think this really gives off a cheerful and playful vibe for the Beatles in their early career. You know, that fits the theme of this record as well. There's a lot of happier, you know, playful love songs on here before they kind of got more serious with their music and lyricism. Alright guys, so those were 10 album covers that I really appreciate. Obviously, if you have not checked out the first part of this video, make sure you click the link down below in the description to see other albums that I also really love. And it would also be really awesome if you guys could leave a comment down below with some album covers that you really love, and let me know why. Anyways guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure to give it a thumbs up if you did enjoy it, and hit that subscribe button if you're new here, and I will see you guys next time.